I'm excited to have a new car in my House Special Works garage today. It's the new HSW Brioso R. Is it fast? Is it worth it? Can you win some races? We're going to test it out against a couple other Tier 3 cars in this House Special Works update. See just how good it is, and you can see here it actually gave me some trouble at my test track. Wasn't expecting it, but it could be a little difficult to handle. I finally figured out my issues though, and we're jumping right into laps this time around. You got your Brioso RA on the top, and you can see we go up on two wheels again, but we managed to get it going around the track. It's taking on the Sentinel XS on the bottom left and the Astron Custom on the bottom right. Coming up through that first sector, you can see the Astron Custom beats them both. I wasn't quite expecting that from the Brioso RA. Being a small compact car, you would think that it would be nice and easy to handle, but it wasn't. I actually had to lift 3 times going through that double banked right-hander. And we're going to look at their site real quick. It says a lot of stuff, but the biggest thing is it's a nimble compact. Well, watch the rest of this lap and see what you think about that. Maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you won't, but just understeer, and it really kind of sucks. The understeer is really unexpected, and you can see the gap is getting bigger and bigger between even the Sentinel XS and the Brioso RA. Going through this tight little section there, the Brioso really doesn't want to turn. You have to lift off quite a few times to get through that last bank corner, and you can see you pay for it a little bit as we go through that final gantry and onto our start-finish line. It's not looking great so far, at least for the handling portion of our test. That Brioso is way behind these other cars that are in the same class, but that's why I test the way that I do. We'll talk about that a bit in a minute. First up, we got lap times, and we can see the Brioso RA in 1:1.5. That's really disappointing. I'm not a huge fan of that, to be honest, but it does have some strengths, so don't leave just yet. We want to see, one, how's it going to do in a quarter mile? How fast is it? And what's the speed score going to be? My test track is a lot more technical than a lot of these tracks you'll be racing on, so maybe it'll be able to redeem itself at the drag strip and on my speedway. That's what we're going to check now. Sentinel XS on the left, new Brioso RA on the right. We're going to the 8th mile line first. That Brioso gets off the line really quickly, and it smokes the Sentinel XS on the way to the 8th mile. Isn't going to be able to keep that up down to the half mile though. It maintains its gap on the way to the quarter, as you see there, going all the way to the half mile. It's what we do on the channel. We want to see, can that Sentinel XS catch up? It's not going to, and the Brioso RA's looking fast in a straight line. So let's put it up against another car in the Tier 3 House Special Works group that is fast in a straight line. And you can see right off the bat, the Brioso, if you're looking at the lines on the track, actually has an advantage, and it beats it to the 8th mile by just about 1/100th of a second. It's still winning though, and it gets there to the quarter mile line just barely faster than that Astron Custom. But those gaps are really small, so the Astron's going to try to make a comeback here, and it does. It actually gaps it by the time we get to the half mile, and that gap extends when we go all the way to the standing mile line. But the Brioso, a 10.5 second that's not right, 10.5 second quarter mile is really solid. This is a quick car, especially off the line. You can see the acceleration once you get going. The Astron has a bit of an edge there, but it might be redeeming itself here. This thing might be a legitimate option for you in these races. First though, we got to check out its top speed. If it's got a really low top speed, it's not going to do you much good in these House Special Works races. So we're going to my speedway. We got the Brioso RA on screen there. I like the car, I do. I'm really disappointed about the lap time, but I'm hoping that it's going to redeem itself here, pull itself up in the speed score a bit, and that we're going to have multiple cars in this Tier 3 House Special Works class to race, have some fun with some balance. Let's take a look at the top speed here, and you can see the Brioso again on top like it was in that quarter mile drag race. This thing's looking pretty good at a 143 top speed here. That's fast, and it puts it on top of both the Sentinel XS and the Astron Custom. So, with a fun little car like this going that fast, maybe that's part of the problem, but the biggest problem that this car has is braking and its lap times. Understeer too is not very good, and we can see in the speed score, it is not quite as good overall as the Astron Custom. The Astron Custom beat it by over a second on laps, which is an eternity when you're talking about racing. So that's a little disappointing. You would expect something like the Brioso to be nimble, like it says on their website. It's not. It's not at all. It understeers braking and lifting off the throttle you understeer. So you have trouble in any situation that you want to slow down. It's not ideal, but it is kind of fun. You can see at least black marks all over the track. You're constantly locking up the front right. It's a really strange car to drive, but it is fun. Go get it if it's free. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and let me know what you think in the comments. This is a bit of a new layout that I'm doing here, so if you like it, you hate it, let me know. Thanks again. I hope to see you next time.